I slept with my girlfriend's sister accidentally. She sent me some photos of her vacation with her family when she got back, and I recognized her sister who gave me the Gawk Gawk 3000 Hawk Twa treatment. See, her sister and I used to be friends with benefits back in college. It was nothing serious, and it lasted less than 3 months. This happened about 2 years ago. I didn't know this was her sister because I never knew what her sister's last name was. So that's why my current girlfriend is so damn gyat and bad. Here's the part where I'm feeling a bit conflicted. See, she has a male friend, who's made me a bit uncomfortable with how close he is to my GF, and he's a bit of a boy. I tried to talk to my GF about it and ask if she ever fooled around with him. It wasn't a deal breaker, but I still wanted to know. She said, "The past is the past. I'm not gonna tell you what I did before, and I don't want to know what you did before me." I'm feeling a bit conflicted because of this. I feel like I should tell her, 'cause I'm sure the sister would tell her either way, but this may be the petty part of me talking. She said she doesn't want to know, and the past is the past, right? Update, things didn't go well when I tried to tell her. I asked her if she remembered what she told me about past sexual experiences, and she got mad at me. She said, "I already told you, the past doesn't matter." I tried to tell her that this was really important, and she told me that she promised herself she wasn't gonna be with someone who's insecure about who she slept with, or her body count. She told me that I needed to grow up. I just blurted out, "I slept with your sister." After some silence, I explained everything and how this was before we met. She took it. It's not that good. We had a long talk about how comfortable she would feel. What would happen when I met her family? What if her parents found out? What if the rest of her family did? Could she really handle being at the altar with me in front of her and her sister next to her, knowing me and her slept together? She told me she just felt gross now. She told me that she didn't know if she could shake this feeling off, so we decided to break up. This was just a mess. Story 2, am I the a-hole for laughing when my aunt told my stepmom that being depressive doesn't make you sleep with a married man? 2 years ago my father left my mother to go with his mistress, whom I will call Anna. My mother never had any idea about the infidelity. Anna knew that my father was married. She even went to the house with him to take his things. One day he simply told my mother that he is no longer in love with her and wants to be happy with Anna. I was there when everything happened. Anna was depressed. She has many scars on her legs and arms. I don't go to my father's house. It makes me uncomfortable to be around them for obvious reasons. Anna is overly nice and it's really uncomfortable. A few days ago it was my grandfather's birthday and the whole family was together, including Anna. I have an aunt who suffers from depression and other more severe things like schizophrenia. She has tried to hurt herself many times. At one point in the night there was only my father, my aunt, Anna, another aunt and I in the living room. For some reason my aunt and Anna were talking about some serious things, and at one point Anna began to say that depression made her do many things trying to feel fulfilled, that she could only overcome depression when she met my father and he saved her, that meeting him was the key to overcome her depression, and now she's finally happy thanks to him. I know about that because Anna often tried to bond with me by telling me how much she suffered in her life and how my father saved her. She has always justified herself that she was depressed and was in a hard place in her life before my father saved her. It always makes me feel uncomfortable and I don't feel empathy for her no matter how sweet she is. Talking about how many times you try to unalive yourself in front of my 8-year-old sister, it's not something normal. Anna has always tried to paint her relationship with my father as a fairy tale that began in a different way, but that she doesn't regret anything because her world is perfect now. At that moment my aunt said something like, "I tried to save myself by going to a psychologist, not by jumping on the banana of a married man," and then she began to say that depression made her want to jump off a bridge but not ruin a family. I just laughed. It was funny. My aunt may have her mind elsewhere all day, but it was crazy to see her make such a sly comment. But when my father was taking me home Anna was crying and he scolded me for laughing at what my aunt said, saying that no one knows everything that Anna suffered. I know. She always talks about that. I didn't apologize, but now I think, was I really wrong to laugh? From my point of view, my aunt was right. Update, my aunt came home. I live with my mother, and told my mom what happened. My mother hates my dad for obvious reasons, but still she's been really nice to him and tried to keep us out of all those problems they have. My mother is honestly a saint. My sister is an 8-year-old girl and she really hates Anna. Anna once tried to get along with my sister and told her about the time she wanted to unalive herself and how my dad saved her. After that my sister came home asking my mother if she had ever thought about unaliving. That's not a question an 8-year-old girl should ask, and my sister even asked me questions about suicide after that. I don't really know what else exactly Anna said to her, but it definitely affected her as a little girl. It's not even something you should talk about with a girl of that age. My mother was furious, and since that day she forbids my father to have my younger sister near Anna as she considers her a dangerous and unstable person around children. Since that day things have been really tense between my father and my mother. My little sister doesn't want to visit our father, so she is fine with this. My aunt told my mother that Anna talked about it again, but this time in front of me. Apparently my father and Anna were totally forbidden to talk about these things in front of me too. I'm not a little kid, but apparently that was the arrangement my mother made with my father when she set boundaries for them. My aunt told her what happened that day, and I confessed to my mother that Anna and my father talk a lot about those unalive attempts in front of me, which is something I should have talked about before, but at that moment I didn't want problems and decided to just ignore them. I told my mom that for that reason I am not going to my father's house anymore, and my mother got very upset with him. The next day she went to talk to my father. I don't know what they talked about. She just came back saying that Anna can't get close to us anymore. She told me that she can't forbid me from being near my father, and that's my decision, but Anna is extremely forbidden to set foot in the same place where I and my sister are. My paternal grandparents agreed, and my aunts too. They knew about the situation with my younger sister. I haven't spoken to my father, but my cousin told me that my father argued with my grandfather. He often says that Anna is a good person and we don't understand the pain she suffered. So I guess he's upset with all of us now for our great lack of empathy. As he always says, I don't know. At least now I won't see them for a while. It was a boring update, but that's what happened, haha. Update: Hi, I wasn't planning to make another update, but we've had a lot of problems with Anna. Too many, and I think now even my father has realized that she's crazy. I have stopped going to see my father, and my father's parents stopped allowing him to go with Anna to their house since I am there a lot and my mother does not allow her to come near me or my sister. Anna began to have the strange behavior of starting to send me texts. First she apologized to me but insisted that my father misses me and my sister. I replied to her that my mother does not allow us to talk to her, and she said that she is my father's partner, so we have to get used to her being around. She started to talk badly about my mother, skeptical, saying that I'm too young to realize it, but my mother is manipulating us and that's wrong because she's not allowing us to be a family. I'm young but I'm not dumb. I didn't answer her again and showed the messages to my mother, who spoke to my father again. My father knew nothing about this and apparently had an argument with Anna about this, since now my mother is planning to take away his last name from our name to end this and protect us. I don't understand too much about this, but in my country you can go to court and take out your father's surname, making him have no right over you anymore. I honestly believe that neither my sister nor I would have any problem with this, but I think my mother just said that to scare him. This is something I heard from my aunt, and I don't know how much of this is real, but my father has been staying at my grandparents' house. One of those nights Anna went to knock on the door looking for him just to argue. She and my father began to argue. Anna yelled at my dad that he couldn't leave her like that, but nothing else happened because my grandfather kicked her out. My aunt also told me that my father told her that Anna sends him messages like, if you leave me I will unalive myself, you can't leave me, so my father is afraid of leaving her and afraid of her. Less than 2 days ago I found out that my father had to leave work quickly because she sent him goodbye messages. Nothing happened to her. She just cut her arms as always. My aunt said that this is something that Anna has always done. Even when the affair started she sent him messages saying that she was about to unalive so that my father would go to her. This is something that Anna also told me, but in a more romantic way. It always scared me. I have no contact with my father and I avoid him when he's at grandpa's house, but as far as my aunt has told me, he doesn't know what to do since he misses us but is afraid to leave her and that she will unalive herself. I feel bad for thinking this, but I'm really relieved to be hearing all this from afar. I'm so thankful that my mom forbade us to see her before all this happened. Honestly, this is his karma, so I'm not going to get into this. Update: Anna took her own life when my father went to get some of his things with grandpa and was scared that she could hit or do something to him. That's all I know. But she unalived herself while they were loading some of my father's stuff into the car. I'm very shocked. I wanted to think what everyone told me, that she wasn't going to do it. I don't want to talk to my father at all. Is this wrong? Want my mother to take us away from him? I do not know. I go to the psychologist and my sister too, but neither of us want to talk to my dad even now. I don't want that drama in my life. My psychologist says it's normal and I shouldn't talk with him if I don't want to. My sister hates him. I don't feel bad for Anna either, and that makes me feel worse. The last thing I heard about her before this was that the police didn't do anything because they never do anything, and she refused to continue her psychological treatment because, according to my aunt, they would tell her that she should be hospitalized, and that happened to my aunt in the past too. I didn't know that. I remember my father telling her about her appointments with the psychologist and even the psychiatrist sometimes because of the medications in the start of that relationship, but she would refuse and say she was fine. She wasn't young or naive. She was 34, almost my parents' age. I even think she had more control in the relationship than my father. She was a grown woman, and I can admit that these last few days I was nervous about her because of all the things she was doing. I don't feel bad about her passing. I even feel very relieved that she is dead, and it is something that my aunts have also told me. Everyone feels like that about her. They and my psychologist say that it is normal to feel that way, but anyway, I prefer to think that I am a better person than her and my father, so I'm not going to be happy for it but respectful. It's sad to think that we're all relieved when someone passes away. She wasn't a good person at all. My father is not a good person either, and I know it. He is not innocent. He did many bad things to my mother during the whole divorce process. He left us until it occurred to him to want to play family with that woman, and even so my mother had always encouraged us to talk to him. They both did a lot of things to my mother during the divorce process, but now I just want my mother to continue to forbid my father from seeing us until we want to see him. Anna scared me. I also feel guilty thinking that she may have seen one of my posts, even though I don't know if she knows English or the existence of this app. I think I'm rambling a lot and this post doesn't make sense, but I just wanted to say that's why I deleted the posts. It makes me feel guilty, the null possibility that she has seen them even though she hasn't.